There is something about a new scent, whether it's deodorant, lotion. I mean, it changes your vibe. I feel fresher.
So you know, you and I both have a real phobia of like having bad breath. Like I always need to smell good. So I'm always carrying a perfume like in my bag, like the portable ones. Sometimes I get too excited and it's like I'm now working at the Nordstrom's counter and it's too much spray and not everyone needs all of that. Like bring it down a notch. But I would rather have that than be like, dude, that chick stinks. So I'm excited for your new smell. I can't wait to, get a waft of it. We've talked about it before on this podcast about the application of the perfume. Okay, good. I'm excited for you. There is another perfume that's very expensive, which is why I probably haven't purchased it. And I have to get the name of it. It has like some, I'm not even gonna get it right. They like only sell it at Bergdorf's or something like that. And I've been wanting it for a while, probably because I forgot the name, which is why I haven't purchased it. But as soon as I do, I'll let you guys know.
I was doing a bit. I put it up on the Calm Down podcast IG, and I couldn't believe how many comments were left on this. Ken was over, my sister was over, and we were talking about old Victoria's Secret scents. You could get the little packs. Tranquil Breezes,
Pear.
So many people
said
wrote
that.
Pear, yes.
Freesia.
And then there was one that everybody talked about, Sweet Dreams or something, but people started writing in what are old scents that they went to. Someone wrote me and said Baby Soft. Do you remember Baby Soft? It wasn't Victoria's Secret. It was one you could get like a Walgreens. It was unreal.
Baby Soft. And then I think Paris Hilton came out with one that was like similar to it. It was like a cotton candy smell. I was a big CK1 gal. Cool Water. If any guy wore Cool Water, I was like, he's so hot. Like that was a big one.
Sophisticated.
What else did I wear a lot? Oh, Angel. Did you ever wear Angel? It was in a blue star bottle.
Who did that?
Oh my God, this was a thing and it was very potent. And like to this day, if someone walks by and they're wearing it, I'm like, ooh, Angel. It is.
Remember when Jessica Simpson did like her even lip glosses and makeup you could eat? Remember that? It like tasted like frosting. I feel like that was back.
She's
in
always
those
ahead of
days,
her time,
too.
that gal.
God, she's great.
But scents are so important. Scents are also really bad because if you've had an ex-boyfriend or anything that has the smell and it will bring you right back to a moment, you're like, ooh, I can't have that. Smells are very, very important.
Abercrombie was so hot back in the day because it totally reminded me of like all the hot boys at my school that didn't like me, but they were all just friends with me because I like to talk sports. Oh, so
How about
hot.
the guys? How about the guys with no shirts standing in the entrance? And it's like, talk about being asphyxiated. You're like, I'm just looking for a flannel. Like you couldn't get away from that smell. My goodness.
And my mom wouldn't let me shop there. It was so expensive. She's like, how about American Eagle?
Didn't you work there?
Oh, I did. Yeah. For a hot second.
Speaking of, go.
Are you going to tell my dad that story?
No, but I'll tell you. Wait, which story?
Remember at the Pat Summerall Award, we didn't discuss this. My dad went through your bio at the end of it. Tell that story.
Erin's getting the Pat Summerall Award, which she's the first female recipient to ever get it. She's with the likes of John Madden. And I mean, so many people have won this incredible award. So we're, and being honored by St. Jude, which in and of itself was incredible. So we're afterwards, after the award ceremony's over, we go to dinner. And Steve, Erin's dad, who's just as sweet as can be, he's taking the time to look through the pamphlet that they had distributed to everyone. And he's like reading. And all of a sudden he goes, Cheesecake Factory. Chrissy, you worked at Cheesecake Factory? And I'm like, and he's like, Starbucks. You worked at Starbucks. And then he's like, you were a nanny? And I'm like, what are we reading, Steve? And he turns it over. And my bio was like 17 pages. And first of all, I'm like, who the fuck submitted that? And also, who cares what I did when I was 11 years old? But it was like listed every single job I've ever had, which I've had a lot of random jobs. But he was so cute because he was like so interested. He's like, well, I didn't know that about you, that you worked at Ola Mendy's Mexican restaurant. I'm like, oh my God. I've had so many jobs. Oh my goodness.
That hurts my face.
It was. And he was so genuine about it. And Jarrett goes, Erin's husband's like, you worked at Cheesecake Factory? I'm like, oh, fuck. It's like, literally, this is so embarrassing. And also, who's submitting that bio? Lo and behold, it was on the Fox Sports website. I'm like, we've got to do an edit. This is desperate times. Most
It
people are like,
hurts.
my first job in TV was at this station. And I'm like, cheesecake. Yeah, anyways, that was funny. No, I was going to say your mom, Paula, cutie, that over on the pregame, which is 10 minutes of, where we dabble and talk about a few things over there. If you guys haven't participated, please do. And then we continue the stories over here. So we were just talking about on the pregame how we got into or where our love of football came. Both of us have a love of the game because of our fathers. So I used to go to my dad's flag football games and I would bring my little briefcase and he's like, just sit right here on the stand so I can see you at all times. And I would like lay out all my paperwork and pretend I was doing business. And like those carbon copy things where it was like receipts where it was like a pink, a yellow, and a white.
Those.
And my grandpa bought me this little book
So
and I was
official.
like, so cute. I was like, okay, there's your receipt. And I was like having like make-believe friends that were stuffed animals like in the stands with me. So that was a game I loved to play. Then Erin just made us all privy to a little game she liked to play. Please elaborate. Go.
It was called Sue the Waitress. I was Sue and I was your waitress.
Not litigious Sue. She wasn't suing the waitress. Her name was Sue.
No. I didn't know anything about a deposition at that point. Now I'm fully aware. No, I was Sue the waitress. And as my mom would do like chores around the house, I would follow her also with a pad and take her order. And then I would smoke on the side Crayola crayons as my cigarettes. And it was just so happened Sue the waitress, AKA me, had 3 kids. One of them was named Cigarette. The other one was named Tractor. And the other one was fondly known as Blanket.
I didn't know you lived in a trailer. I'm excited about this. Let's go back.
Oh, yeah. Now Michael Jackson used that and named one of his kids Blanket. But yeah, was, I would address my mother by her first name and talk to her about my 3 kids. And it was a time.
How old were you when you were playing Sue the Waitress and your child's name was
living
Cigarette?
in Maine. So we moved from Maine when I was in kindergarten. So I was
adorable.
kind of that age. Oh, yeah. What a gal. It
made me think of all the games, first of all, and also you smoking crayons as heaters. I used to love to save up my money and go to the candy store. It was Sweet Factory, for those of you that don't know. And the fake cigs. Now, I was like, you can't do anything. They wouldn't sell those to kids. It'd be like, we're promoting smoking. It's like, no, just tell your parents to do a better job. So now, other games I'd like to play was, I also had adoption agency. I would line up all my stuffed animals. And
That's
so me and my friend
nice.
Amy, we do adoption agency and like you could, obviously adopt a panda or whatnot. I also I always wanted to have, which is now completely the opposite of me, a wedding, like a big elaborate wedding. So I used to save up my allowance and buy the brides magazines. This was when I was like 10 years old.
Okay.
And in the brides magazines, they would have like these little flyer things you could send away and get like a sample invitation or a sample napkin or, a little match holder or whatever. So I would do this all the time and I had like a collection of all of these things. And so I'd play wedding planner and I'm like, oh, are you interested in this font? Are you interested in this paper and this napkin? Oh yeah, I love to make believe. It got creepy when I was still playing with Barbies up until I was like 16 years old. My mom sent me a picture the other day and I was like, that is me going off to college playing Barbies. So you should have told me. I
loved Barbies. Kendra and I were all about Barbies. We had the house, we had the Corvette, we had the pool. We had Skipper, we had Kent. It was great. I always loved the tropical Barbie. My sister had Miko, the black-haired one. I had the long blonde hair one. Oh, God. Peaches and cream Barbie. I loved all the Barbies. Yeah.
I would give the Barbies haircuts. And,
and it'd always go wrong.
Always go wrong. Or then bangs would get involved.
Yeah.
Speaking of bangs, how many times in your youth did you cut your own bangs?
She bangs. So unfortunately,
you know the one.
God, I grew up with all the bangs. I had bangs all through college, like up to college.
Wow.
For some
Dazzlers?
reason, I had bangs, and I'll be honest, Erin and Kendra had sideburns. Don't worry. Check out the Calm Down podcast IG later this week. Yeah, I really struggled in the haircut department. And then finally at the University of Florida, I was like, I'm going to grow these things out. This isn't helping anyone. I mean, I did the bangs where they were blunt. I did the bangs where they were curled under, and I had the curling iron burn on my head.
Of course, you get that 3-inch barrel.
Oh, yeah, all the barrels. But yeah, I had a thick freaking bang. And I had these wing sideburns that I just couldn't get past.
Oh my gosh.
And then not to mention I had the ear that stuck out with the sideburn. I mean, it was all happening. We wonder why it took a while for me to get a serious boyfriend.
You're ridiculous. You're so ridiculous.